This video is brought to you by hoodbeast.com. Design your own custom hoodies. hoodbeast.com. We are beast.
What's going on, world? It's your boy 2J's back at it. Another collection video. This one's one that's like I'm excited to share, and I was hesitant to share, right? I filmed this video. This is probably like the third time that I've filmed this video, and it's my watch collection video. I wanted to share it. I'm like excited about a lot of these pieces, but at the same time, like I was kind of concerned, not even gonna lie, kind of concerned with what people may say or might think about me having some of these pieces because of the value of it or this or that, and then, you know, I like thought about it for a while, watched the videos that I filmed, wasn't really thrilled about it, how I filmed them, because of some of my own conversation with the camera took me, right? So decided to squash it, thought about it, was like, nah, I'm not gonna bust this video out, and then kept seeing comment after comment after comment, like, yo, when's the watch video collection coming? Like, when's it coming? So, you know, here I am, and I'm gonna show you guys some watches. Now, I'm not gonna show you every single piece that I have. I'm gonna show you 4 watches that I'm really thankful that I have, that I worked really hard to get, and they have a lot of sentimental value to me. Hey, Joni, how you doing? Hi. Video bombing Joni in the background. But anyway, so gonna start with my first watch. The first one is a Breitling. It's a Colt. Now, I'm not gonna get all technical and say, yo, the watch does this and it does that. I'm gonna tell you the stories kind of behind these watches and some of the stuff that it brings, right? When I was a kid, I've always been into watches. I've always been into collecting. If it wasn't bicycles, it was Nintendo video games, it was watches, it was toys, it was baseball cards. It was just, I've always collected. A collector's a collector, and he's gonna just, you know, it just evolves. I loved watches when I was a kid, but I couldn't afford all the fancy watches. And I had this watch that I got at Canal Street. It was a fake Breitling, and I loved that thing. And I wore it with pride, not even gonna lie. I told Joni this story as when I was a kid, I had this watch, and, you know, I was being chased because I was doing some stuff I had no business doing. I was wearing this watch. While I was wearing the watch, like legit, the arms fell off the dial of the watch. And then when I looked at my watch, like a little bit later after I stopped running, like I see all these, like, just the arms are all over the place, and it was embarrassing, and I threw the watch out. And I don't knock anyone for wearing fakes. I get it, you know, like not everybody's in a position to be able to get some of these things, and at the same time, if that's the lane that you could play in, then go on, man. If it gives you confidence, handle it, and, you know, just stay motivated. And if you feel the need to, or that you could justify down the road getting a legit one, that's great too. Use it as motivation, as stepping stones, right? But so yeah, I told Joni that story, and I bought this watch last year. And well, basically, you know, I told her the story, and I was looking at watches that were in this price point because it was a lot of money, and we weren't really making it like that. But I saved, and I got this guy. Now, I know that my lens isn't probably going to be able to zoom in that well, but it's a navy blue like rubber strap, you know, and metal face. I'll give B-roll and upload pictures also of these watches. But when I told her the story, she was like, Jay, you got to get this watch. So this was my first, like, my first grown-up watch. And I wear this a lot. These 4 watches I'm showing you are pretty much the only watches I wear every day. Now, I wasn't used to this type of shopping. They give you this little, it comes in this leather thing, and it has like your warranty and all this information on it, you know, and they even gave us champagne, and I was like, wow, man, I might be making it, like champagne. It probably wasn't the, you know, the priciest or fanciest, but it was just an experience, and they made me feel welcome, and I appreciated the fact that they didn't judge the guy that walked into the store with a book bag and a bunch of tattoos. But yeah, that's the first watch, the Breitling, and I'll give you guys B-roll of this, but this one's pretty scuffed up. I've worn this a lot. So my second watch that I want to talk about, I got maybe 5 or 6 months after this Breitling. Now, the Breitling gave me the bug. Like, I was like, oh man, I want to get back into watches. And I worked really hard. I stacked. I lost sleep over some of this stuff. It's kind of funny. Me and Joni would literally go. I basically would drag Joni along after work, like to all these watch stores and forum shops and on the strip and window shop. And I had the watch that I wanted to buy when I bought my Breitling was this Cartier Santos. Now, the Santos is it's almost double the cost of the Breitling, and so you could understand, I wasn't used to spending this type of money on watches, so I was a little scared, but I had a rep that helped me out a lot, and this was my everyday watch for almost a year. Extremely comfortable, very durable. One thing that you're gonna notice with my 4 favorite watches that I'm showing you guys is that they have one thing going, and it's gonna be the straps. They're all gonna be like either rubber or polyurethane. I like wearing everyday watches. I don't have a need for that fancy watch that you only wear out when you go into a fancy dinner or something like that, because that's not my lifestyle. And 2, you're not gonna see any like diamonds or anything like that with my watches, because that's not me. Like, if you notice, I don't wear bling. Like, that's not my steez. I like simple. I like watches that they're made with good quality, that you don't see every day, and that you could respect. Like, they're not gaudy. None of my watches are, in my opinion, I don't think they're gaudy, except for maybe one, and I'll talk about that one here in a second. But this is the Cartier Santos 100, and it's definitely one of my favorite watches. I've always been a fan of Cartier. I've had glasses when I was younger, and this is like, to me, the brand that I was like, if I ever make any real money, like, I'm gonna go, and I got one. Now, and again, I'll show B-roll of these as we go along, right? But those 2 watches, pretty much, I coasted through most of last year with. Now, the third watch I want to show you was a watch that I saw between, like, basically every time I went window shopping for watches with Joni over a course of almost a year. And it was the watch where I was like, you know what? One day I'm going to have it. One day I'm going to get this watch. This watch is like ridiculous. It's a Rolly. And this one, sentimentally, like, this is probably like the watch, right? This is like, if you had to strip me of everything, shoes, tattoos, like everything, and you let me only keep one item, this would be it. And there's a few reasons. One, because of Joni's granddad, and that's probably the main reason. So Joni's grandfather passed away a little while back, and you know, it was really like shitty situation, man. Like you watch someone that you have feelings for and that you love pass away, and you know, you look back and you wish that you could say different things, or you could have done things different, or let them know how much you appreciated them. One thing I respected about Joni's grandfather was that no matter what, this guy had a smile on his face, you know, and he worked till his end of days. He's probably one of the hardest working people I ever met. At his wake, you know, they're showing clips of basically like meaningful moments in their family's history that involved him or family. And I saw one thing that was like constant in all these is he had this watch, right? And you know that, like in this video, like in these pictures or this montage of pictures with her grandfather, like I realized time is short. You have to respect and appreciate the time that you have with your loved ones, and like sometimes I lose track of that because we work as hard as we do, and I don't get to respect it. I know it's weird because I'm like kind of like getting sidetracked here with what I'm talking about, but seeing those pictures really motivated me more to go get this watch that I swore I would probably never buy because of how much it cost. And you know, we're growing a business, and you know, I worked, and I have a little side hustle here and there. You know, we Joni and I go out to the casinos, and I got lucky a couple times, and we scraped up some money, you know. So I saw this watch. It's the Rolex Yachtmaster, the rose gold one. And I saw this watch before I saw any of those other watches, but I was like, Jay, stay in your lane. The day will come, right? And you know, I stacked. Family was good. Like my family's taken care of. You know, bills are paid, shop's doing good, you know, and I wanted to reward myself. So I got this Rolly, and this one's crazy. It's rose gold, real rose gold, and probably the one watch you guys see me wear like all the time. Like sometimes you'll see it like in some of the pictures for the Instagram and stuff, when I'm taking pictures with guests, or when I'm taking pictures of the worn shoes. This is extremely light, extremely durable. There's like titaniums, like I could go on and on and on about this watch. Like I love this thing, you know, and I never thought I'd ever own a Rolex. Rolex was never something that, like, those words own and Rolex in a sentence, for me, never thought, man. Like, it's crazy. Really dope watch. It's all scuffed up. I beat this thing up. It's kind of crazy. I feel bad, but it's awesome. That first Rolly, like, I had a friend, Dustin, who wrote the movie How High, and like he wrote for CSI Las Vegas for a while. You know, he was probably like, I didn't show this one off for a while first from when I got it, because I was kind of hesitant as to what the reaction would be. Like, oh shit, Jay bought a Rolex from family or friends. But I told Dustin because I respect him a lot, right? And the funny thing, Dustin goes, yo, Jay, you're never going to wear any of your other watches ever again. And I was like, what are you talking about? You're tripping. And, you know, like, I really tried really hard to go against what he said just because of what he said. And you know what? He's fucking right. I wear this shit all the time. But that's my third one. Now, the last one that I want to show you guys, this one's crazy. I mean, they're all pretty crazy, but like this one is like freaking retarded to an extent. Now, in all these watch purchases before the Rolly and even during the Rolly, like I went into this store, it's Hublot, and I met the rep that helped me, and he showed me a bunch of watches, and I was afraid to touch all of them. Like I didn't touch any of them. I remember Joni was like, oh, let me see that watch, and she put it on. She's like, oh man, this is really light, and I'm like freaking out because I'm praying that the watch doesn't slide off her wrist and go, because I didn't want to have to like sell my ass to cover whatever Joni just would have broke. But I did tell the guy one thing. I said, look, I am not in a position to buy this today, but I will be one day, and when I do, I'll come back and I'm gonna buy the watch from you. I was focused on my brand, as I still am. I'm focused on taking care of family. You know, I moved my mother out here last year, and to kind of help her out and stuff, and you know, like want to make sure C's and staff was good. Like we buy staff shoes here and there, and you know, I want to reward them before I reward myself, because without them, you know, I can't do any of the cool stuff that I do, right? So when all that took place and I was ready, I went back to the guy. The watch that I went back to him for was the Victor Cruz New York Giants Hublot collaboration. Now I know Victor Cruz is no longer with the New York Giants, but I'm a huge Victor Cruz fan. One, he's Puerto Rican. Two, he's from Jersey. You know, three, play for the Giants. Well, I'm from Jersey. I'm a hardcore Giants fan, and I'm Puerto Rican, so you could understand why, like, I have this, like, I don't know how to word it, but you could understand why I'm so crazy about this watch when I saw that they did a collaboration. Now, here's where it gets wild. I see the picture of this watch, but it's the description of the upgraded version of this watch. So the watch that I bought comes in this big giant box. They made 40 of them. The upgraded version they made 10 of, right? So when I saw the picture, but the description for the other watch, I looked at Joni and I was like, Joni, this breaks my heart. Like, there's no way I'll ever buy this watch. Like, this was like one of the most expensive. If the price was correct on that picture and post that I saw, it would have been more expensive than anything else I've ever bought. So I just figured there's no way, like, it's a crazy number. So fast forward, Joni and I are actually walking around Caesar's Palace trying to poach employees, right? Because the shop is doing really well, and we want to, you know, we wanted to bring some people on, and it winded up just being like, we just winded up shopping. Joni bought clothes, I bought socks at Nike, and you know, we see Hublot, and I see the guy, and I walk in, and I'm like, hey, what's going on, man? Like, and I basically went in there to tell him I'm getting close, but instead I saw the watch, and it was hook, line, and sinker. First I saw the watch, and I'm like nudging the Joni, but not trying to, like, I'm not trying to show my cards here to the guy. And I'm like, Joni, that's the watch, Joni. You know, so she's like, oh man, you got to try it on, blah, 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 right? So I finally try on a watch there, because like now I'm in a position to be able to justify this stuff, right? But where they got me was in the extra stuff. I'm a sucker for extra. This dude's like, bro, Jay, comes in the second biggest box Hublot has ever made. And I'm like, what? I'm thinking, you know, big box. Like, you guys just saw 3 watches. The boxes are like this, maybe like that tall. He's like, no, Jay, second biggest box. He's like, you got to see this. And he comes out with this thing. And I'm like, yo, you weren't kidding. Like, so you could kind of get an idea that, like, this is bigger. This is like a PlayStation 1, 2, 3, and 4 box and an Xbox One in one box. Like, it's huge. Like, look, bro, you can't even see my face. Right, so it comes in this. Because not only was it a watch, that comes in this box with the New York Giants logo, it brings a helmet. And he's like, Jay, it has a football helmet. And I'm like, oh, cool. So then he like brings it, but he doesn't take the football helmet out of the box. So I get home after I bought the watch and recognize that this is an authentic NFL helmet. I'm like blown away, right? So like when I'm looking at the box, I still haven't even, like I'm still in shock about the purchase because this was crazy. But I haven't even taken the helmet out of the box, and I tell Joni, I'm like, Joni, I gotta figure out how I get Victor Cruz to sign this, right? And then like I'm thinking, is he gonna be weirded out because he's no longer with the New York Giants, right? Check this out. One, it comes with the little, you know, thing with his number from when he played for the Giants and his name, and it has on the side here, which I'll show in B-roll, it has the Hublot logo and the New York Giants logo on the other side. This is an actual NFL authentic helmet that just so happens to come signed by Victor Cruz. And I lost it. I turned into a little kid. I like pretty much almost cried. Like this is like pinnacle shit. And I haven't even shown you guys the watch, which like it's, I know I yap, I'm sorry. This thing has like this fancy button, then you like open it, and inside is just like this beautiful watch. Like it's kind of hard to see there, but I'll give you guys B-roll, and I'm gonna upload pictures of it. You know, I had a couple concerns with this watch. One, it looks like it has leather on it, and I told the guy, I was like, yo, I don't know how I feel about leather because all my other watches, you know, the straps. He's like, dude, look, the way that, and it's got like rubber straps, but the leather is embedded in the rubber strap. It's just crazy, man. Like, and this is the only watch I have where like you could actually see all the moving parts. Like the detail is crazy on this. On the back of it, it has the New York, like a New York skyline with a football player, which is like the older New York Giants logo. It's one of 40. You know, you guys know I'm a big Giants fan. I have a New York Giants sleeve, for crying out loud, on my leg. Victor Cruz is on it, Strahan's on it, the catch is on it. I have Eli Manning on it. I have 3 of the 4 Super Bowl rings. It's a sleeve that I'm still doing, and I know that you guys are like, oh man, you got Eli Manning and this, and Victor Cruz isn't even there, and I got the Tyree catch, but I'm doing like a tribute piece, right? Those are players. I'm gonna have players and coaches, you know, even Coughlin's on it. I'm gonna have players and coaches that were monumental to the Giants acquiring those Super Bowl rings. And as a Giants fan, as a Victor Cruz fan, you know, I'm really thankful that I was in a position to get this piece, because like this made me feel like a little kid again, man. This is my most comfortable watch to wear. I don't wear it as much, one, because I'm afraid to beat this one up because of its, you know, rarity, and 2, because it's not a color that I wear a lot, right? It's blue. You know, most of the stuff I wear is black. So, but anyways, you know, that's my watch collection. Hopefully you guys liked what you saw here today, and you guys enjoy some of this B-roll. Currently it's Sunday night, and it's about to be 11 o'clock at night. I still have to wash clothes with Joni and pack for London, because the next 2 days are going to be kind of crazy at the store. My flight's on Tuesday. It's going to take us about 12 hours. Extremely excited to be in Europe for 7 days. Joni and I are going to try to hit up a bunch of shops. We got a list. Hopefully they'll allow us to record in some of these shops. I definitely want to showcase, you know, the UK sneaker scene to my, you know, other followers that either live in the States or outside of Europe. And then I have a couple meetings out there. gonna get to check out Crep's new store, which I'm stoked about. You know, I talked about it in the video with Blake when we did the unboxing of the Fragment jackets. But I'm really excited to see what they got cooking, man, because like I'm a fan of those guys. Like it's just exciting to see their spin on what they feel sneaker consignment should be, and I can't wait. And we're gonna try to sneak out to Paris, if for a day or two, if we can. If we can't, you know, then maybe, you know, when Joni and I can actually take days off, we'll go back and check it out. But then we come home for 1 day, and then we go to Chicago for 3, and, you know, hit up SneakerCon out there for a couple of days. I'm excited, man. I'm going to some really big cities where I have a lot of supporters. I can't wait to come say what's up and hang out with you guys, and show love back for all the love that you guys have shown me. But as always, you know, I appreciate you. And if you guys want to upload some content to my page, again, JayceLopez.com is where you go. And I'll catch you guys on the next one, man. Much love.
Circling the runways, I'm about to take off. Rainfall is shining pavement, just like some lip gloss. Was pissed off, now I'm cool about it. Kinda shocked that I found an outlet. Been working on shit, they soon astounded. I'll climb a hill, they see a mountain. Sitting through this turbulence, shaking when shit turns to his. Watching rapping tournaments, see fake ass dudes all acting bitch. Like what the fuck is this? Yeah, thought you made it big, yeah, bought expensive shit, now you returning all of it. And I kinda see myself in them, know I gotta take a L sometimes. Hair getting pulled out by the stems, just know I didn't cross no lines. See them when I close my eyes, feel weird when a friend's nearby. Conversation really wastes my time, by myself when I lose my mind, yeah.
When